no one's gonna guarantee that you are not gonna suffer it.
What am I doing?
How the fuck do we pronounce your last name?
Fuck that shit.
I should shut the fuck up.
This is gonna be terrible. This is gonna be awful.
Some smooth, melancholic solo.
Yeah.
And then
I was not happy, and there was no way I was gonna be happy being in that band. I felt like kind of bullied and just like taken advantage of left and right, and I was just like, you know what, fuck this, dude. I'm not gonna waste my time being in that situation. Yeah, the studio footage, that's all edited.
I've had enough of this shit.
This fucking was stressful. I think we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Hello.
How you doing? How'd you hear me?
Sounds great.
Sounds great. Okay. Yeah, I hear you well too.
Okay. Just making sure.
Look at your stuff around, huh?
Yeah.
Is that the wall, like background screen, or that's the real studio?
Oh no, this is the room I'm in.
Oh, okay. Okay. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Had
Nice.
a long day in California. Yeah.
I believe it.
Probably same for you. How are the kids?
They're good.
Yeah.
It was a long day,
right? So yeah. But before we start, the very first question and the very important question: how the fuck do we pronounce your last name? How to pronounce your last name for those 20 people who are gonna watch this interview? Maybe even more.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm not 100% sure, of course, because I mean, I'm sure the name's been around forever, but as far as I know, it's BEDENE.
BEDENE.
Yes.
Okay, so, but probably most people, right, when they see it, they say BEDENE, right?
There's a lot of BEDENEs. There's there's been so many random ones where people just like, I'm like, dude, I don't know how you got there, but I don't blame you because it's
yeah. Because I saw that on your Facebook page, like for the fucking toddlers,
Oh yeah.
Spell like BEDENE.
Yeah, phonetically or whatever. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I've got the same problem with my name because my name is Ilya. In Russian, it's Ilya.
Okay.
And this name has been butchered so much. So yes, I have the same. Yeah, I feel Yes,
Yeah.
I feel okay.
At some point, it's just like, okay, you know what? At least you're trying, and if it's wrong, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make a person. So it's
Yes,
just kind
at least they tried. No.
Yeah, for sure.
We got this, the most important one, right?
Interview's over.
Yes. Okay, let's go to bed. I know the album is coming soon.
Yep.
When?
Yeah.
It's March, right?
I have no fucking idea, dude.
And yeah, we'll cut it out. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'll put the screen with the release date.
Cool. Yeah, I honestly, as far as all the release stuff goes, once we start doing things, it's for me like I don't even pay attention to dates anymore, and stuff just happens, and I'm like, oh shit, the album's out. Cool.
Do you know the name at least of it?
Shit.
A Little Shop of Horrors?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, it's
Vault of Horrors. Yeah. So I have really bad test anxiety. So like if I know something, but then someone like, hey, what's this? I instant forget every time.
It's okay. But there will be a lot of this kind of what's that? What's this? So just
I'm not worried about
if you have a beer or something that relaxes you, just be my guest. No,
are
you drinking actually or no?
No, I don't drink.
I didn't take anything with me, so whatever. Okay, so you've got the new album coming out, right? From what I know, it's gonna have like 10 guest spots.
Oh, I think it's a guest every song, maybe besides
every song.
one. It's every song or every song but one. I think it's one of the two. I don't know.
Probably gonna be outro. That's not gonna happen.
I feel like every song has one, but I honestly at this point I don't know.
And any tours upcoming, because this interview is probably come out because I'll edit it and shit, it's probably gonna take like 2-3 weeks for me to
We'll
do.
be probably directly on tour then, because we're doing the tour in Europe with Carnifex and Revocation.
Oh, is it the Chaos of and Carnage or no? Or no, it's a
No.
different one.
Yeah, it's for, I think it's Carnifex's new album that just came out. They're doing Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Our new album will just be coming out. So it's a
Okay.
few new album release tour basically, you know.
Let's start from the very, very beginning, right? I'm not gonna ask those stupid questions. How did you start playing drums and how was it, right? Because it's in every single interview. I wanted to ask you one thing
Yeah.
about you playing with your dad in a death
Yes.
metal band
Yeah, for
in the
sure.
beginning, right? Is that
Uh,
correct?
that was like definitely one of the first things that I had ever done was play with my dad, you know, in bands. Yeah, we had three different bands. At
3.
three, yeah, we had three different bands that were all different musically. So we had Blood of Cain, which was like the death metal band out of all of them, and
Mm-hmm.
then we had Fallon, which was my dad's old band that I ended up joining to so because we were already playing in bands, we knew that I
Mm-hmm.
could play the stuff and all that kind of. So it just kind of worked out. And then we also had Pit Fiends, which was more like a thrash kind of
Mm-hmm.
band. And yeah, for I don't know, I want to say like when I was like 15 all the way up to like 18, all all those bands were like pushing pretty hard to do stuff, and we were, you know, not touring yet, but we were, you know, driving across the country or going to different states and playing and doing like mini
Mm-hmm.
tours, trying to kind of like break in somewhere, you know, with something. And surprisingly, it just never happened, even though we had like, we were in talks with Sumerian at one point with Blood of Cain,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, it's a really interesting thing because I always loved jamming with my dad since I was a little kid. We always played music together. Definitely my biggest inspiration for doing music. So it was always, I always hoped that we could, you know, do something together and make it work. You know, we ended up playing a show with Blood of Cain, and I met Ian, who plays guitar in Aborted, and he was
Mm-hmm.
playing in a, I think their name was Artisan, and they were just a band in LA that had a few guys that were a little older, but then Ian was like the same age as me, and we had a mutual friend, so we met up, hung out, and then like a year or two later, he started touring, playing guitar for Abysmal Dawn, and then that's when I had an in basically at that point
Mm-hmm.
because they needed a drummer. He hit me up. He's like, dude, we should jam. You should play for Abysmal Dawn kind of thing.
It's like a tech death band from what I remember.
Yeah, for sure. So that was my first touring experience, was jumping from doing all the like local tours and all that kind of stuff, getting on a tour with Abysmal Dawn. And yeah, I mean, from then on, Ian and I kind of just like went from that. Then we went to Abigail Williams, and then we went to Aborted.
Yeah,
But
but you are playing with that still, right? The
so
you've got the project which is AERITH, right?
yeah,
If
Aerith, yeah.
AERITH,
So
I'm sorry.
yep, no, it's all good. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that he plays bass in that group, and basically that's kind of just like a studio project with my friend and then my dad, and then I write all the music and kind of thing, and I just like have, we all just kind of collaborate, and you
Yeah,
know.
you've got a lot of guest vocalists too.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
checked them out. I checked the band like a couple days ago on Bandcamp. It's
Cool.
it's impressive. Yeah, I really liked
Thank
it.
you. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean it's melodic. It's like the, I mean, we're just going for like In Flames basically, you know, but
that's good.
like a worship kind of band, you know, where every song just sounds like another song of theirs, but uh it's still super cool. And I mean, we're actually finishing up as well, recording
Hmm.
something as well. So I mean, gonna have more cool guests and stuff on there as well. So between Aborted and that, I've had my hands full, and it's
That's
with
good. Is
kids.
it going to be the first album of AERITH?
Uh, yeah,
From what I saw, there were only like singles and EPs.
yep, Yep. So it'll be
So
a
it's gonna be the
first.
first full length.
Yep.
Good. But
Yeah, it should be
how
cool.
does your, I know you already said that your dad is playing the bass. Is he playing anything else? Does he do the like extreme vocals? Does he do all this
So
kind of stuff?
so he was so if I backtrack a little bit, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Uh, in Blood of Cain, he sang. In Fallon, he played bass and sang. And then in Pit Fiends, he played bass and sang. So he's always been multi-instrument and vocalist as well. So, you know,
Hmm.
jack of many trades or whatever, you know. So
Yep. And did he teach you a lot? Did he like give you the lessons? He probably did. It's a stupid question. I'm sorry.
no.
But
It's not a stupid question.
uh-huh.
Um, you know what? He never really like sat me down and taught me anything. We would just mutually be able to kind of talk about stuff and understand it without it needing to be taught, if that makes sense. It was never just like, okay, if you sit down and we play like, you know, these certain notes, you're going to get good at your instrument, or, you know, like this is how you play the drum beat kind of thing. Like that
Mm.
was never a thing. For me, music always kind of came natural. So it was a lot of like he would do something and I would see it and I would be able to kind of replicate that just by hearing it, you know. So
That's cool.
yeah, for sure.
But with the drums, did he never played the drum set? He just
He
okay.
had it. So he bought a drum set from one of his drummers that he used to play with when I was a little kid. I was like
Hmm.
3 or something, and it always just sit around. And whenever I would always go to my dad's practices back when I was a kid, because
Hmm.
so the band Fallon that I was talking about, those guys were in a band before I was born. So they had been playing for a long time and we were all really close friends and everything. Basically, instead of having daycare or, you know, like at nighttime, someone watching me, I'd go to my
Mm,
dad's practice. You know,
that's awesome.
that was kind of my upbringing was like I'd either be at my grandma's house or my parents would be working or I'd go to my dad's band practice and I would just watch him play and I would get on the drums there and I would hear it so much that it kind of just made sense and I would see it and it'd just be like, okay,
Replicate what is
yeah,
like the drummer that is playing. You just could see what's going on, and
yeah. Even from an early age, it just kind of like made sense to me. And so when my dad bought one of the drum sets from that guy, we just had it at our house. And I want to say when I was probably like 10, I started really diving into it.
Mhm.
And I think around the same time, I started playing on I think they got me an electric guitar for Christmas one year. So I had an electric guitar that I would just kind of jam out on. And then I had the drum set that wasn't really that great, but I'd piece it together. There was like two stands and it was like a
Mhm.
three-piece kit, but it was
That's
like
cool.
still something to jam on. And then my cousin and I would start jamming and he played bass for a little bit before he switched to guitar. So like my family had just like we had all intertwined the music together and just kind of all played and kind of learned together. And I want to say when I was probably 11 or 12, they noticed that I was playing the drums enough to where they're like, okay, we're gonna get him his own drum kit. So then I got uh, like a Yamaha stage custom, like a not a beginner kit, but it was definitely like an intermediate kit, and I was just like, I don't like this. But eventually, I got used to playing it, and uh, yeah, I mean that's really when I started digging into drumming. You know, like age 12, started getting back into metal because as a kid, I went from listening to metal as a baby pretty much all the way up to like I want to say 7 or 8 Spice Girls, Eminem, like all
Mhm.
the like pop stuff that was during that time. And then
Your
I
dad
think
was probably listening to a lot of heavy stuff.
He was pretty pissed when I started listening to the pop music, and I cut my hair, and he's just like, "Oh no, that's not my son."
Poser.
He's like, "Motherfucker." Yeah.
But yeah, what kind of music was he listening? Because I know that a lot of your dad's age people were listening to like Led Zeppelin, all this kind of stuff. But I imagine that he was listening to something way heavier.
Yeah. So my dad was into like Morbid Angel, Death, and all that kind of shit. Yeah. So like that was my introduction to music, was like Pantera, Slayer, fucking Death, Cannibal Corpse, Morbid Angel, all that kind of stuff. He was really big into Morbid Angel. So for me as a kid, that was like one of the big bands for me. Was Morbid Angel, Pantera. I mean Kiss as well, but they weren't really that heavy. But those were like the bands that I definitely like grew up into. And there was a lot of 80s hair metal too, because my parents were both into 80s hair metal. So it was like I had the very extreme, and then I had the like glam rock kind of shit. I was like, what the?
What does your dad think about Aborted? Like, is it heavy enough for him?
Oh, I mean, he definitely likes Aborted for sure. Yeah, my parents were just we all were on the 70,000 tons of metal cruise together kind of thing.
It was recently, right? You just got from it.
I just came back, yeah. So they'd always wanted to go every year, and we were playing. I'm like, okay, let's just go. It's gonna be great. You're gonna have a great time, and they had a super fun time. But yeah, my parents have both supported me since the beginning with music and doing the super heavy stuff, and that's always been my dad's dream, kind of, is to do the touring gig. So he's always like, that's super cool. You get that opportunity to do so,
Yeah, that's very interesting, because some parents I could see like music is something that is a hobby. You could never,
Definitely.
But yeah, that's very cool from your dad just to support you.
Yeah, it's tough because I know that was like his dream for a very long time, So as me growing up, I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be my dad. I grew up watching him play. I wanted to go out on tour and do what he wanted to do. That was literally like when it boils down to it, there's no way that's not what happened. I know for me, like internally, I'm sure it's maybe a little different, just like, I chose my path kind of thing. No, I clearly didn't. I went my dad's route, and that was exactly, that was what was destined to be at this point.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so you talked about Abysmal Dawn, right? You toured with them for a little while, right? Before joining, or how long was it?
I did a tour and a half, and I say
tour and a half.
I say a half because one of the tours we did, it was like Obscura's first headlining tour in the States.
Wow.
And they had just come off tour with Cannibal Corpse, and they were like pretty dead tired from touring. And they were kind of, I believe, expecting the tour to kind of be like pretty awesome, because Cannibal Corpse on tours always does well. And the first like 3 shows, man, like most shows had like 10 to 15 people at them.
Ooh.
And like, they're from Europe, so they're like, man,
what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, why are we here?
But look at them now.
Totally. Yeah,
yes, I recorded drum cam for Gabe. See.
Okay. Yeah, for
and
sure.
It was in Tampa, the Orpheum, and it was packed.
Yeah.
It was packed. But look at them now. It's just a long path to success.
I mean, the time does pay off at some point.
So that tour, right?
That lasted, I think, 5 shows, and then they're like, "Fuck this, we're going home," and they canceled the whole tour. We're like, "Cool, we're from the States. We have to drive all the way back home. We're gonna lose a bunch of money." And then I did one other tour after that, and that was the Conquer and Curse tour with Abigail Williams, and I ended up playing bass with Abigail Williams halfway through the tour.
Yes, that's the thing I wanted to ask you, because it's just how did it happen? I heard a lot about it, that you were drumming and then something happened, or maybe I just...
Okay, so what happened with that tour was that I was playing drums for Abysmal Dawn. I want to say like close to halfway through the tour, the guy that was playing bass for Abigail Williams at the point. I don't think he had a passport or he didn't have a visa or something to where he couldn't go into Canada. And I think it was because he probably had something that didn't allow him to go in, but he said he didn't have his passport, something like that. And so they basically told him to go home because they were going to go into Canada. And they asked all the bass players on the tour, would you guys mind filling in like on a song, for the band? And me being eager as fuck and a kid, and they were my favorite band at that point. I'm like, dude, I'll fucking learn it on bass. They're like, you play drums. I'm like, I know I play drums. I play bass. Like, I'll use the bass that you guys have from the bass player. I'll just play the fucking bass on the shows, kind of thing.
Was it the time of the first album, like In the Shadow of Thousand Suns?
It was In the Shadow of the Thousand Suns.
That shit is tough to play like on any instrument.
Yeah, it's sick.
How did you even manage it? Like, how did you learn it? Like, what were you doing it in the van, like between the?
Man, so I don't remember like super well, but from what I do remember, the first day they asked me, I was like, okay, I'll learn a song. They gave me, I think, 1 or 2 songs, and I was super familiar with all the songs that they were playing. So I'm like, cool. I already know how the songs go. I'm just gonna learn them. And I want to say we had a day off after 2 shows of me doing just one song. So I rode with them, and I just basically learned the whole set in a day after that. And then I'm pretty sure I just started playing bass from then on after that point, and then playing drums as well. So I was doing 2 sets, but one was bass and one was drums.
That's insanity.
I also don't remember that well because I was pretty stressed, just like.
Yeah, stress makes you forget a lot of shit,
Yeah, just get me through this. Just get me through this.
That's that's probably one of the craziest stories that I've heard when it comes to touring musicians.
It's weird, but sometimes that's just how people end up getting, their opportunity is just by like randomly taking a chance to just fail, but somehow making it work.
Yeah. Look at Matt, the Paulazzo.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like recently, what was it in the interview? Like Cali Death podcast. He just said that he was learning. He was asked to fill in from Black Dahlia.
Yeah, he did. He did a few shows, I think, on one of their tours.
Or a couple, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was doing that while he was on tour.
Yeah.
Doing it in the van, without drums, without anything. He was
totally.
So yeah, you didn't finish. Yeah, I'm sorry I interrupted.
No, totally. I mean, I totally agree. I think I saw them actually when he filled in for him, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
How the fuck did he do that?
I mean, he probably knew the songs at least decently, so that he could just kind of like take a few days to get on a drum set and kind of be able to apply his thought process to the songs then at that point. But I mean, yeah, that dude's a beast on drums. He's very good.
He submitted one of the covers, but I don't know if we're gonna watch it because he already did the Whitechapel one, and we were like blown away by his swivel.
He's sick. He's one of the only guys that I know that has probably a better swivel than I do. At least comparable.
Oh, come on.
But no, he's fucking sick. He's sick for sure.
Yeah, because he said that his mom is like a yoga instructor.
Oh, okay.
So she taught him how to handle it without, harming himself.
Cool. That's awesome.
That's
I believe it. Because
he's playing it so smooth.
Yep.
Kind of. But yeah, you guys are. I don't know, that's insane. So yeah, it was Abigail Williams. Then they probably asked you to do the drums for the second album, right?
So after that tour, I don't know if everybody quit or the singer fired everyone. I don't know, and I'm not going to say which one it is. I don't
Ken
remember.
could do. I don't know.
I
He's a
do.
rock star. I did the drum cam with Gabe,
Yeah.
and I looked at Ken, and he just, he's like Lemmy of black metal, just tall, all with tats, and he had this like leather jacket thing without sleeves.
Yeah.
Could have fired all of them. So yeah,
I'm not gonna say what happened, but
yeah,
it's
we're not gonna speculate, but yeah,
I was definitely there for that. And then so yeah, I ended up playing drums after that point. He's like, "Do you want to play drums and not play bass?" I'm like, "Sure." I mean, that's kind of my thing. That's kind of what I do. So sure, that's easier for me. And then we got Ian, who was in Abysmal Dawn.
mhm.
And so Ian and I both in Cali, but he's in LA and I'm up kind of close to Sac. So, for us, it was just kind of like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, that's a better gig to play to be in, and it's kind of a step up, I guess. Um, I'll never forget because the main dude in Abysmal Dawn was like, "Hey, man, so the only thing I ask is just like, don't use this band as a stepping stone. I want to make sure that you're like loyal to this band and shit." Literally, the second tour, I'm like, "I'm out, dude." He was so upset, and I'm like, I don't blame him, but also like, you're expecting a 19-year-old to have loyalty to like anyone at this point. He like, I've never toured before. If I get an opportunity, I'm gonna take it. But you know,
It is what it is,
it
right?
is.
And
Dude's that Charles from Abysmal Dawn's awesome dude, and I don't hold I don't blame him, but it's also like my path was elsewhere at that point. So, and that was my favorite band that I was joining, so it was just like for me, just like fuck yes, this is what I
mhm.
want to do. So yeah, so I started playing drums after that point, and man, that whole time of being in that band was like years off of my life, it felt like, because there was just so much random shit that was just like,
Mhm.
what the fuck? Like, you expect to go from this band that's like headlining a tour, they have all this fucking MySpace hype at that point.
Mhm.
They were like building to be a pretty big band, and then we get to it, and then it's like, man, like for some reason Ken was just like, you know, I don't know if it was from the tour. I feel like it was, but on the Conquer and Curse tour, there's a few times that people were calling him like, "Oh, you guys play blackcore, and you guys are doing like this deathcore, but black metal stuff," and it was like really bugging him, and
Yeah.
hurt kind of. I don't know if it was hurting his ego at that point or what it was, but he was just like really getting upset about you know, being told that he wasn't playing like real black metal, and um, he's so for the next album, he's like, you know what, fuck all these people, fuck all the fans at this point, like we're gonna just do like true black metal.
Mhm.
And for me, I'm like, wait, this is you. I'm a part of my favorite band, and we're gonna switch the sound of it. Why would we do that in the first place? Okay, I guess I'm on board. I mean, you have the vision for it, sure, but like we'll see. Yeah, so yeah, just from that point on, it was just like, dude, what are we doing? Like half
Mhm.
the time. Um,
But yeah,
and then,
remember the first EP, which is the Legend, right?
yep,
Legend EP
yep,
got very big on MySpace, and the first
yep,
album,
yep. I loved both of those releases.
it's really like a breath of fresh air. Back then in 2008, what, not so many bands were doing something similar.
I
Maybe
mean,
like,
dude, I mean, it was straight up Emperor and Old Man's Child and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
But kids didn't know that. Like the younger generation that's not into black metal, they didn't really know that. it
but
appealed to the newer
it,
generation, I guess, and it like you're saying, it was the the breath of fresh air kind of thing. So
yeah, I still think it's that shit was ahead of its time. And yeah, of course, everyone's vision is different. I really like what um, Ken is doing. It's really amazing how, you know, he dealt with the hate and with the hate online too, with all these people who are saying, "Oh, it's not real black metal and shit." But yeah, kudos to him. Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's it's still amazing. It's just that he keeps going.
yeah, we were having kind of like a band identity crisis, I think, happened at
Okay.
that point, and that's sometimes that happens, sometimes it needs to happen, and um, I honestly was not a super big fan of that style. I know that I helped write some of the second album, but for me, I'm like, cool, black metal, Opeth, Dimmu,
Uh-huh.
like I wasn't super big into black metal that much. Um, and it's not that I didn't like it; it just wasn't really my, you know, forte or anything. So,
It
when we
was a
were
drastic change.
it
Yes, it was a
was
drastic. The second album, I was expecting kind of similar vibe, but then it was
so
just
different. Yeah, and on it,
okay.
it's honestly when I listen back and I hear that, I'm like, dude, this sounds amateur as fuck. Like this is not good. I don't know what we were thinking having some of this stuff on there. I know that at that point it was just kind of like I'm pretty sure it was just kind of like we're gonna do something different. We like we want to go true black metal, but also wolves in the throne room. Like it was just like so confusing to me. Um, but yeah, while we were recording the album and doing it all, Ken had done. I think he was on the coronary reconstruction EP by Aborted,
Yes, I think so
and
too.
he was gonna go play guitar for him live on a tour, and they were gonna have someone playing drums for him, and I believe it was Samus, but Samus bailed out because he wanted too much money or more money than he was getting offered, and he took a different gig instead. So they didn't have a drummer for like the tour coming up in 2 weeks, and
Shit.
Ken asked me if I want to learn the whole set in 2 weeks for Aborted, and I'm like, I don't like Aborted. No. He's like, yeah, you should do it. I'm like, okay, sure, why not? I mean, it gets my foot into another, opportunity kind of thing. And at that point, we were in the studio, we didn't have any money. At least Ian and I didn't. There was some weird stuff going on with the band's expenses for recording at that point that we didn't know about, and it was just kind of like, we're kids, and for me, I felt like I was kind of like, I need to find another out kind of thing because I don't know how long this is gonna happen, and I was just kind of not stoked on the whole
Hmm.
uh, thing happening at that point. So I was like, sure, I'll learn the set, and um, I ended up doing that tour and then joined Aborted right after that, and then Ken kind of, from what I remember, there was just like Ken wanted to have his foot in both bands so that he could kind of dictate when tours were going to happen and kind of just like feel like he had a bit of control over everything. And I want to say the second tour we did with Aborted, um, that Ken was on, I don't know if he quit or he got kicked out, but th- there was just like a lot of egos in Aborted at that point. Like there was a lot of people in the band that were kind of power hungry, and Ken left. He expected me to leave, and I was like, no, I'm not leaving. Fuck that shit, you know? No, no, I'm not gonna stay in Abigail over Aborted. Like, he made me choose to between the bands. I'm like, dude, no, I'm not happy in Abigail at all. So I was just like, no, I'm staying with Aborted. I'm gonna see this one out because I know that I felt super bad leaving Ian behind, but I was not happy, and there was no way I was going to be happy being in that band. I felt like kind of bullied and just like taken advantage of left and right, and I was just like, you know what, fuck this, dude. I'm not going to waste my time being in that situation. Like, cool, get another kid to fucking tour in your band and take advantage of him. It's not going to be me anymore, you know. I went to Aborted, and that just kind of ended up working out, and I was like, cool. I'm stoked. Sven and I got along super well. Some of the other guys, not so much. Because some of those guys that were a little power hungry were still in that band at that point. So I was like, okay, I'm going to see this through, since at least Sven and I get along super well. And that also was like the first time I made more than $200 on a tour, you know, and like it was so weird, man. Like going from a band making $200 on a tour, which is not much at all, but that was Abysmal Dawn, then to getting no money and paying for stuff with Abigail, even though they were headlining shows and like, I was just like, dude, what is going on? How is this a thing? One had tour support. Like, there was just a lot of weird stuff, right? Then to going to Aborted, having things paid that were like band expenses, and just like, maybe this band actually has their shit together, first of all.
Yeah.
You know, like, it was just, it was just like, okay, maybe this is real. You know, this is a real thing that I can kind of just like stick with, you know. And so after that point, Sven and I became super good friends, and that just ended up working, you know.
Did you start liking the music?
I started writing some of it, so yes.
But yeah, the first album with them, the Global Flatline.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I could see the drastic change in the band. Like,
yeah.
From the previous EP
Yeah.
to the new album.
Yeah.
It's like rocket launch with the speed,
Totally.
with everything, with technicality.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
and that was more my thing anyways, was like, because with Blood of Cain, I was already doing like death metal stuff. I like death metal. I like the tech death. I was like really big into the faceless and all that kind of stuff. So it was just like, for me, it was just like, yes, this is the style I want to do. Blast beats, super fast double kicks. Like, I wasn't very good at it at that point. But once I got to Aborted, I was starting to refine my drumming a little bit and kind of find a space where I was comfortable playing stuff.
Yeah, because I re-listened to your era albums just to preparing, and I compared them. They're like the first track after the intro. It's like, holy fuck, okay. Yes, and back then it was just only, what was it, 2012? Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Or 2011. Yeah, the whole album is just go, 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 go. Only like a couple songs that make you kind of rest a little bit. But do you remember anything during that era, like when you were recording it?
Yeah, totally.
Was it hard for you?
So Dirk had done the previous EP, and I was joining the band, and I knew that they were going to do the full album, and they're like, I think we should have Dirk do it. And I'm like, oh god. I mean, that's fine, you know. He already did the other songs, so it kind of makes sense. But also, like, I'm playing the song, so maybe I should have some input a little bit, but it's not my shit. So like, whatever. And then a few of the guys wanted Dirk. Sven ultimately was like, no, this guy's he's playing with us. We might as well have him on the album, kind of thing. So I always had in the back of my mind, like, I don't know if I can play Dirk stuff. Like, Dirk's just really good. I don't know if I can play it. And I don't practice that much at home. So for me, when I would practice and I'd be learning stuff that was like a little over my level at that point, I'd be like, I don't think I could play anything. This is going to be terrible. This is going to be awful. But I want to say we we did like a few practice sessions. We had to fly out to Europe, and I had never. I was, I think, still 19 at that point, maybe 20.
Yeah, I remember your interview.
Yeah.
When there was the recording. I remember the camera was like fucking where your balls are.
Yeah. Yeah. And
okay, yeah, never mind. So yeah, you were.
Yeah. So I mean, I was super young. They're like, yeah, we're gonna fly out to Europe. We're gonna be in this, we're gonna all practice in the spot, and we're gonna all go over the songs. And I'm like, cool. Am I gonna fly with anybody out there? Like, where am I meeting anybody? Like, oh no, you're just gonna end up taking the train, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I don't speak this language at all, because a few of the guys spoke Dutch, and there was there was an American, and then there was someone from Israel as well. So it was just like total, as the band has always been, just a collection of different people. I'll never forget flying there with no one there to help me, just being like, what am I doing? I have no idea how to get where I need to go. No one speaks English at all, and
which is weird because it's the European Union country, right? At least something.
I flew to, I want to say I flew to Amsterdam, which the Dutch, they do speak English pretty damn well, but most of the time they don't want to. So it was kind of just like, where do I go? Where do I go? I have like a bunch of bags with me. I got my drum stuff, and I'm just like trying to figure out how to get to the train and put all of my shit on the train, and just like, this sucks. I don't want to do this ever again. This is terrible. I didn't take any wrong trains, luckily, but just that to start me out going there and being like, oh, wow, this fucking was stressful. And now I have to like be as good as Dirk. And then we went through the songs that we had, and we're like, yeah, some of these are really sick. And then I believe we wrote, I like had the beginnings of Origin of Disease at that point, and we ended up finishing that song together. And then after that had happened, I think we did we either did shows or we went to Jacob Hanson's studio at that point and recorded the album. And it was a cool time, except for the fact that we were staying in this like pretty cool house out in the like wilderness area. But the only transportation we had for all of us were these bikes that he had at the place that had flat tires, and the fucking seats were like stiff as shit. So like the first day of me recording, I'm like struggling to get on the bike. I haven't ridden a bike in like 20 years. And the last time I did, I fell off of it going down a hill super hard. So I was already like freaking out. I get to the studio after riding my ass off just to go like any speed, because there was no air in the tire. It was fucking popped. And then my ass.
And you were recording too before with like intense double bass and shit.
Yeah. And my ass is just sore as hell from just like not being able to do it. Like, because the chair was just awful. So yeah, first I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna be any good, guys. This is gonna be terrible. And then I want to say the first song we did was what was the first one? I think it was Coronary Reconstruction, because that was on the EP, so I had already played it. I was like, okay, I'll just record the songs we've already played. It was either that or it was Global Flatline. It was one of the two. But they're like, wow, that was really sick. And I'm like, was it? I don't know. I can't tell. I'm too stressed out.
Yeah, again, stress makes,
Yeah.
you know, times just squeezing.
Yeah, exactly. And then those 5 days went, or 4 or 5 days went by like super quick. And then we got done with it. And, once the drums were done, I was like, okay, I can relax finally. So.
But it was 15 songs. What I remember when I was, listening to the album, I remember how fucking long it was for death metal. Probably like 50 minutes of intense death metal with a couple songs that are, that give you a break.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably intro and outro or something, but
yeah, I think there was a few covers on there too. But yeah, it was definitely just a stressful experience, but also a good one.
You doing good?
I don't ever talk this much, so my throat is all dry.
It's okay. Yeah.
1 second.
So yeah, it was you guys recorded the album, then there was the album cycle. Was it stressful too for you? Because one thing is record these songs. Another fucking thing is to play them live every single day for 9 months out of a year.
Yeah, it was. I want to say we toured probably like 5 months out of the year, but I prefer playing live because there's so many more mistakes you can make. It's no one's looking at you through a microscope at that point, so it's kind of just like I can feed off the energy of the show instead of being in the studio. And most of the time in the studio, I don't know what I'm playing other than just like the structural beats. So all the fills I make up in the studio, and like some of the beats I make up in the studio as well. So there's pressure to get done with things in the studio, where when we play it live, it doesn't fucking matter if I'm playing what's on the album or not half the time. Other than
who
just
gives a fuck about what feel is?
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, you play sometimes differently, right?
Totally, yeah. That's just
you don't
natural
have
for me.
to be like, here's that fill, here's this fill.
Only sometimes if it's like an important fill, but most of the time it never is,
That's good.
Yeah.
And yeah, with those speeds, who's gonna see shit? Who's gonna notice it?
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna notice it when you fuck up, I guess. Really
True.
bad.
Yeah. Plus, I think that there's a lot of fun to be had to just like kind of free flow some of the parts, just improvising in general. I feel like that's super important as a musician, to be able to just like on the spot come up with new things and make it fun for yourself rather than playing the same thing every night, Chuck E. Cheese style or some shit,
Yeah.
So.
And the band is totally fine with that, right? They just
as long as it lands on time and everything.
Okay,
and,
yes.
Whatever,
As long as there's no giving like this kind of what the fuck you doing?
Can happen sometimes, but then I'm like.
But did it? Was there like a train wreck situation during this tour?
Oh man, with Aborted, no. There was a few shows where I would miss a thing here and there, but I think that is just the nature of playing live. At some point, you're gonna fuck up, and for me, it's better to fuck up at the beginning than later, when everybody's used to you being good. Dude, the worst train wreck was with Abigail Williams. We were in Australia, and we were opening up for Nile, and we played after Hate Eternal, and they fucking ripped ass. Hate Eternal was so sick. And then we got on there, and we were all sharing George's kit, and I was nervous as hell, dude. I was nervous as hell. This guy is like the reason that I started swiveling in the first place, and I'm like, oh god, I gotta be good, I gotta be good, I gotta be good. And at the time, I didn't know that like there's a way you could loosen up your E-kit triggers and have them not just fall down. So I kept like fully tightening in them. Jesus Christ, can't even say the word. And then I would loosen them as well. And so it'd just be like full tight, full loose. It's not in the right spot. I got to do it again, do it again, do it again. And our sound, we didn't get a sound check, and I didn't get to start the show on time. And everybody was yelling at me, and I was super stressed because I was playing on the kit and everything.
I'm already stressed myself.
Dude, we were 3 minutes over, and they're like, we gotta go, we gotta go. I'm like, oh God. And also, Michael Keane was playing bass with us as well. So again, the Faceless, another person that I was like really looking up to as well. So I'm just like, oh my God, this is so stressful. My triggers aren't working. They're not gonna hit at the right time. What is happening? This is fucked. So fucked. No one's helping me. And at that point, I think my triggers blew up. So I was using, that was Europe. I want to say I was using a laptop that I'd never used before, and like some shit. I don't really remember the my trigger situation, other than like I couldn't get them set. So they were like hitting before I would barely even touch the pedal, just be like, click, and I'd be like, oh my God. So we start late. I start the song on we had iPods back in the day that we were using. And I'm like, okay, first song. It's just single kick pretty much the whole song. I'm like, cool, this is no problem. And then there's a part where the double bass goes like kind of not fast, but there's double bass in it. And I could tell that it was hitting so early that it wouldn't hit again, or it would just like be so wrong that my double bass was like, and I'm like,
shit just misfired.
Yeah, it was misfiring, and I was just like playing standard, just like, and it's just like, and I'm like, I know I'm not fucking doing that. What is happening? What is happening? We're in front of like 1,200 people too, so I'm just like, I'm like, this is fucking weird, dude. What is happening? So I stopped the iPod. I'm like, okay, first song's over. Start the second one. It goes boop, 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 beep, boop. I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Yeah, so there's always a count before to give me like how many, to tell me it's going to be 8 clicks, and then it goes into the song. It started off and it gave me 7, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And so I didn't start the song because I'm like, it just gave me 7. We try to start the song, and I just fuck it up because I was thinking it was going to start on 8. We're totally off the click, so I just stop and I'm like, okay, well, that's not working. What just happened? I restart it. It gives me 7 again. I'm like, what the fuck? Because sometimes if you cut the click too short, it'll cut off the first one.
Ooh.
Like if you don't give enough time before when you're making the metronome, sometimes it'll cut off for whatever reason. Back on some programs that just happens. So it did it again, and I'm like, what the fuck? Because the other one gave me 8. Why is this giving me 7? So I stopped again, and my kicks are still fucked up. So literally my mind is just racing the whole time. And everybody in the crowd's just like, what the fuck, boo? And I'm just like, ah! And then the singer, fucking Ken, turns around. He's like, just count the fucking song off, dude. And I'm like, oh my God, I fucking hate you right now, dude. I fucking hate you. You didn't help me, and now I'm doing this. Like, this is such bullshit. Fuck you. So
was it the last show with Abigail? Or no?
No. That was almost my last show. Like, I don't know if you've seen Whiplash, but there's always a breaking point where someone becomes, they go through such a traumatic experience it either makes or breaks them. I would say that like prepared me for anything. But yeah, after that point, I played through the set. It sounded like total ass. The kicks were totally a mess, and there was literally nothing I could do to change it. And after that point, I was like, well, I don't know how it's going to change, but I'm not going to go through that ever again.
I right now, I am feeling I don't know, like one of the scariest things that could have happened to the
Yeah.
musician,
Yeah,
you
dude,
know,
it was
especially when you're playing to the click and everything, happened
yeah.
to you. And it was the whole show, right? It was just all
Yeah,
the show
yeah.
was like that. Were you
Well,
booed off stage?
we weren't booed off stage, but it was pretty fucking bad. And the thing that sucked was like they made the fucking click tracks minutes before we went on stage. They didn't
Oh,
check them. They were just like, they're all good. Let's do it. I'm like, I'm playing up here with a few of my fucking idols around, and it is absolutely the worst thing it possibly could have been. And just like after that point, I never talked to George other than he was just like, yeah, well, like he seemed not interested. I totally was a fucking chump to his ass, and I was just like, oh my God, such a learning experience.
was it the beginning of the tour or was it closer to the end?
That was like either the first or second show.
Oh, and so you
But
had the whole tour ahead, so
there
just
was only like 4 shows. It was
okay, so
It
it
was
was immediate.
Australia. It was
Hmm.
short, yeah. But
But yeah, George's kid is like his drum set is intimidating itself. Look at that
yeah,
thing.
totally.
It's
Yeah, it is for sure. At this point, I feel like if I was to get on it now, be like, okay, whatever, it's a drum set. I can make it work. Back then, I wasn't used to like sharing drums with other people. So I had to make every fucking tiny adjustment for myself. George is like, just don't mess with my shit too much, but you guys can all use it. I get up there, everything's fucking weird to me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, and I start adjusting literally
uh-huh.
everything. And I see him after the show, just like super pissed off, throwing shit because his kit's all fucked up. And I'm like, ah, dude, I've ruined this dude's soul. Like,
But did you talk after the tour or anything? Did
no,
he? No?
no, no. I always wanted to because I felt bad, and like I said, I always looked up to that guy as a drummer. So it was like, cool. I never spoke to him after.
I think he probably got over it.
Oh,
Or we can address like
I'm
George.
sure.
George,
I'm sure he doesn't care. He probably doesn't give a fuck. He probably doesn't even remember, to be honest. But you know,
George, Ken didn't mean it, okay? Just please. It was
yeah,
it was how many years ago too? Like that.
yeah, over 10. I feel like as weird as that is, there's never been a connection between us, even though I've talked with Derek Roddy or anybody else around his circle. He's just someone that I've never really talked to, and I find it weird. I was expecting to talk to him on the boat because they were supposed to play on the
Mhm.
70,000 tons cruise, but they ended up not being able to do it. So I was just like, fuck, another opportunity. I would have had to talk to him. Didn't get
I'm sure your paths will
it.
cross at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
You guys, you
probably.
have like this, I don't know, not similar style, but still like similar technique.
I
And
mean,
yeah, you,
yeah, I stole a
yeah,
ton
it's
of
just,
it.
yeah, you'll meet. I'm sure. I'm sure you will. Okay, so I'm not gonna go like over every single album because we already,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yeah, it's gonna take us forever, right? So
yeah.
there was the Global Flatline, the Necrotic Manifesto, there
Yep.
was the Retrogore,
Hmm.
TerrorVision, like Mania Cult, so many. You just recorded more albums than any other drummer before with
Yeah.
Aborted.
Yep.
Okay. So, do you remember like anything specifically from from maybe recording any of those albums or some studio stories or anything? I know that usually the first like recording with the band is most memorable, right? With those stories. But do you remember anything like after that?
I mean, the
Like,
interesting thing about all of the albums is that I want to say we had the same lineup on 2 albums, maybe, right? So we had a lineup change on pretty much every album. But that being said, it wasn't a bad thing, right? So, like, the first album had certain people in it that uh, made being in that band kind of difficult. After that, on the next one, we had a bunch of people that brought new life and like being stoked again, you know, at least for Sven, I'm pretty sure. But for me as well, like we had new people in the band that I felt like, oh, this is really fucking sick. And, you know, Mendel and I still talk to this day a bunch, and still a good friend of mine. And
he's doing AERITH too, right? Some like mastering, or
yeah,
right? Is that right?
he's done mixing before for us for sure. Yeah, you know, he's a super talented dude, and we were able to really. It took us a sec to kind of get on the same page and like understand each other, but once we did, it was like, hell yeah, like this is really cool. You don't always get to meet people that you connect with musically super well. A lot of times you can be in a band with people and be like, yeah, that's cool that you did your thing, you know, and just accept it. But sometimes you really connect with people and you're like, I can fucking jam with that guy any day of the week, and like I know it'd be sick, you know. And after that album was Retrogore, and that's when we got Ian in the band. So it was another person that I was like super stoked to have back in the band. And it just like, for me, it's always been like positive, positive, positive. You know, there's always been some negatives when, you know, we've had people leave because of personal things, and we're like, damn, that fucking sucks. But we've found people that like really connect with us in a similar way or their own way, but that's a way that we can really just, you know, understand each other, I guess, you know, on a personal level. And it's just like, this is fucking sick, you know? So it's, for me, it's always cool to be able to jam with more people. So there's always that kind of stuff. And of course, there's always funny stories when you're in the studio and stuff you can look back and laugh at. I'll never forget being in the studio crying because I had like a Carolina Reaper hot sauce, and I poured it all over my fucking pizza, and there was no cheese on it. It was just like a vegan pizza with just only hot sauce pretty much. And I was crying after I ate that, and everyone was laughing at me, and I was just like in tears because I was in pain, but I kept eating it because I was not going to give up. Like stupid shit like that where you're like, this is ridiculous. Or just like out of nowhere, random porn just showing up on the TV because someone's fucking streamcasting it or whatever. You know, you're just like, come on, dude, like what? But yeah, there's so many stupid fucking stories, but they're always cool to look back on, for sure.
Yeah, they're like, which of these album cycles and like recording, do you feel actual nostalgic about, you know, any of those times, or you feel like, you know, it's time to move on, future is gonna be better?
Man, honestly, they're always fun to look back on, even if there was like weird trauma on it, you know. Even with Abigail, there's times where I'm like, that shit, there was some funny stuff that happened, or there was some, it's cool that I got to do some of that stuff, you know. So I don't think that anything was bad that happened. Like I'm glad I did everything I did, but obviously some things that happened, I'm like, I'd rather that have not happened in the way it happened. But that doesn't necessarily mean that like the whole experience was total dog shit, you know. And so definitely get nostalgic with pretty much any of it, even stuff that like just happened recently. I'll just like crack up about, you know, or be stoked on.
Yeah, there's no need to be sad about it. Yeah, how about another thing I wanted to ask you when it comes to the albums? You are recording the guitars too. How big is your contribution with, you know, with each album? Is it getting like bigger and bigger? Do you like write a lot in guitars, you know, like guitar parts
For
I
sure.
mean?
So Global Flatline, I did 1 or 2 songs. I think 2 songs. So basically, it's been like ramping up. So this newest album, I think I wrote 4, but the 2 albums before that, I wrote pretty much all of the album.
Jeez.
So
Retrogore and
okay, with Retrogore, that was, I want to say I did like 3 or 4 of those as well. But Mendel did a good chunk. Ian and I did a good chunk. JB did some of the, or JB, I don't know if JB's on that one. That might be his last one. But yeah, there was definitely, we've had several writers on each one. So it'd be like each person does a third or a fourth of the album, pretty much. But with Maniacal and TerrorVision, I wrote pretty much all of those.
And those are the albums that I would say that they're, I don't know, it could be my opinion, but I think that they're more like experimental. You know, you could see
Totally.
like 3 tempo changes in, you know, within 20 seconds of, yes, but I could see that these albums are, you know, the band was not afraid to just slow down a little bit, you know, and just to go into like some experiments without, you know, without not being aborted, you know.
The thing I always tell Sven, and the other guys definitely agree, no matter what the fuck we write, it's going to sound like Aborted if he's on it. If you listen to the whole catalog, none of the shit sounds the same. It's all a little bit different. But because his vocals are on it, it sounds like Aborted. So for me, I'm like, okay, that gives me kind of just like free reign to make death metal, but it can be experimental or just like different than what we normally do, and it'll be fine. But also, it's it's tough writing a whole album and not making it boring, because a lot of times you'll start to make it sound same song again. Oh, here we go. Same idea that we already did 3 times at this point. So.
And it's hard, yes, it's hard to do it when you have more than 10 albums like under your belt, behind your belt. So, but for some reason, just Aborted keeps doing it, and you guys keep making it like more interesting, and I'm excited for the new one.
New one's sick, and our new guitar player Danny wrote a good chunk of it, and that was kind of nice for me to kind of just take a step back a little bit. You know, once I started dealing with dad stuff, the last thing I wanted to do was try and write 20 fucking songs and like stress over that when I'm like, I have a little thing here that needs me.
Still, what can we expect from it? Is it going to be faster?
It's definitely fast as fuck. Okay, the easiest way I can describe it is that it's going to be faster than most of the stuff that we've done. It's a lot more, I'd say, riffy than the last few albums, because a lot of the stuff is written by a guitar player's point of view rather than me trying to write stuff that I think is technical, which is not. And I think it definitely has, I wouldn't say better or easier, but it's just, I think the songs are fucking strong on the album, where the other albums we've done previously are all pretty sick, but when you re-listen to them after a few years go by, it's they don't hold up that well, if that makes sense. At least in my opinion, after playing them a billion times, they kind of get old. So that's just bound to happen. But I feel like the new one I think will last a little better than some of the stuff. And the thing that's cool is that I think most of the songs are going to be able to be received well live. A lot of the last few albums, a lot of the songs off of those, when we play them live, it's like no one knows what the fuck is going on. And it's just like, okay, these don't really work live. So we're not really doing too many songs that are in 7, you know, or which that was starting to become a thing where I would just throw weird time parts in there and just like, ooh, this doesn't work very well. We're
Yeah,
playing
let's
death
hope.
metal.
Yeah, let's hope that it's gonna, this new album is gonna stand the test of time. Yeah, I'm excited for it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it'll be sick. I mean, I don't know. It's another death metal album, but I think it's sick.
Come
So
on, it's gonna be sick. It's gonna be sick. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about one like album that you also, not album, the band that you were with, Oracles, right?
Oracles, yeah.
Oracles. Anything on that side, or is just it's
That band
done,
at this point, that band's done.
done.
As far as I know, it's done. Maybe some of the people will do something together at some point again.
Uh-huh.
Uh, for me, I was already dealing with enough aborted stuff, and then dealing with that on top of it. I was just like, no, no, I'm good, dude. I don't want to do extra live shit unless there's actual money to be made. I'm fine. Like,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
just too much stress.
Yeah, because I was hoping actually, because I remember this album, Misericord,
Yeah,
right, that came out in 2016.
yeah,
I was blown away by it. It could it had Sven as the vocalist there, and
yeah.
it just had so many elements,
Very cool
that
stuff.
were, again, they were ahead. You could say that it's like a, what's this band, Amaranth
Oh
of a
yeah,
healthy person.
it's funny because to me that was like I liked Amaranth a lot,
I do too. Yeah, I
and
really love them.
and when Sven was talking about me joining with the Oracle's project thing, I was like, sure, if we're heading to something like that, that's like in flames a little bit, which is why I did AERITH in the first place. I was like, sure, let's do it. And then, I mean, I heard the album, I was like, this is sick, and we just never really got any of the right people interested, I guess, or the traction
Hmm.
just never really hit. But we did, I don't think we did any tours, or I didn't do any tours with them.
There were like a couple
We did some shows.
there were a couple shows that I saw, and I'm like thinking, okay.
Yeah,
And
we
there
just,
was the single, the standalone single
mhm.
that, yeah, and well,
There was some
at
cool
least
stuff for sure.
it was really good. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Mendel did a really good job with those songs because
so he wrote
Mendel, I believe, wrote every song except for one that I wrote. Everything else he wrote.
there was also the what, Marilyn Manson cover,
Oh
like the
God,
Beautiful People. I'm
yeah.
thinking, why isn't it like a bonus track? Why is it before the best track on the album? I'm still thinking. I don't know who's gonna answer this question. Maybe I'll ask Mendel or
Oh
Sven.
yeah. I think that was just something we jammed on, or I don't know. That might have been a
When it comes to your technique, right? You already said multiple times that it just like came naturally to you, right? For it was first Leg was doing it, and then you just saw
yeah.
George doing it, right? So does it give you like, after so many years playing Swivel, does it give you any pains or anything? Does it like, how do you feel right now after so many years playing this technique?
For sure. So I want to say like a few years ago before
Mm-hmm.
COVID hit, there was a tour we did, and I had switched to the Polish like Czarcie Kopytos pedals or whatever they're
Mm-hmm.
fucking called. I can never say the name right. I always feel stupid saying it. But I had switched to those, and I'm like, these are sick pedals. And I want to say halfway through the tour, my knees started flaring up super
Oof.
bad. And I had always played on Axis, which are like light pedals, and switching to those, my body wasn't used to it, and um, yeah, my knees just totally got wrecked after that tour. I took some time off of playing drums when COVID hit, and I didn't play for, I want to say, a whole year. I just stopped
Wow.
playing. I stopped playing drums completely for a whole year just because I was kind of stressed out about COVID, and the whole like, because I was on tour when COVID hit, filling in for Decapitated, and I was like, I don't want to get stuck in Europe. I don't want to get stuck in Europe. So I fucking flew home during the tour, filling in for him. I was like, sorry guys, I'm leaving. I'm going home. And I just stopped playing drums for a full year. I'm like, okay, maybe I should start again if I'm gonna actually play at some point. I don't know if I will, because nobody knew what was happening. And
did they finish the tour?
no,
No.
no,
No.
the whole tour got canceled. We canceled the whole tour, and literally every show we kept. We do a show. The next show would that venue before would be closed down. They'd be like, we're closing the venue down because of COVID. I'm like, cool. So the COVID's just following us. This is great. I don't want to be here. But yeah, they didn't. The whole tour just canceled. Everyone's like, thank you. You saved us. Like, I'm like, I don't know if I did, but we're going home because like, nobody wants to be stuck here with anything shutting down. Like, that would suck. Yeah, sorry. Anyways, I took time off of drumming for a year. I started to play again, build it back up. My knees are still kind of not great anymore, but switching back to the Axis pedals, I don't get pain from playing now. So I definitely think that I did some damage. But I also stopped like exercising, doing like yoga, because I was doing yoga a lot before and working out a ton. I stopped doing all of that once I had a kid because it was just like, I don't have fucking time. And I'm sure I do, but just mentally it's hard to have that motivation, especially when like you're not playing drums and all that stuff. It's like, dude, I need to figure out something. So, but yeah, my knees are still kind of not too great, but I think switching back to the lighter pedal has helped, and I don't feel that pain when I'm playing anymore. Especially if I'm like playing a lot, there's like no pain. It's just when I stop and I don't do anything for a while, my knees will lock up and I feel like I'm starting to feel like a cripple or some shit. I'm just like, oh god, I got arthritis, hella bad now.
Yeah, when hopefully when the kid grows up, you'll have more time for yoga.
I don't know. Who knows, man? Like,
yeah, it's just you never know.
yeah.
Because I'm about to have the same kind of life that you have. I don't
Yeah.
even know, but I'm excited for it too.
Well,
But
good.
good.
Be excited.
Yeah. Okay, yes. And yes, again, like I wish you the fast recovery, and it's a good decision that, you know, whichever helps you, whichever helps
Totally.
you. Yeah, whichever
Yeah.
helps you. And with the hands, throughout a lot of videos that I watched, so I could see that when you are playing, you're like moving your hand a lot, right? Kind of moving your arm too. So is it for the like relief, or how is that working for you?
I think naturally my hand just does that. Because I know with my left hand, if I'm doing like all fingers for blast beats or whatever, then I can see my hand will start here and it'll start moving and it does that. I think that's just to keep momentum up and so my hand doesn't get tired. But I'm not intentionally doing that. That's just naturally my hand moving.
Yeah,
So I have,
naturally gifted.
so
Okay.
I think it's just like, oh fuck, I'm gonna die out. Oh fuck, I'm gonna die out. Oh, like it's just helping bounce. It's like bouncing a basketball, right? Like, but my right hand, I'm pretty sure doesn't do that. Uh, I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure I'm doing two different techniques, and it's just
Yeah, that's okay. But have you considered switching to any techniques? Like you said that with your knees, uh, are you like some of the drummers who's thinking that like heel toe is cheating and stuff?
I'm starting to be one of those old guys. So clearly, you know, at the end of the day, as long as it sounds correct to the audience, it doesn't fucking matter. But for me, I feel like part of my playing has always been part of doing swivel. So it's hard for me to want to say that, like, yeah, anybody can fucking play the cover correctly of my shit, you know, doing doubles. Because I'm like, not really. You're doing it like kind of half the movement. Yeah, half the effort a little bit. But also, like, I can't fucking play doubles, so I shouldn't be talking, right? You know?
Yeah, everyone is built different.
Totally.
Yeah, look at people. For again, I repeated it a couple times. Yeah, for some people, one technique is working. For some, it's not. For some, one is painful.
Yep.
Like, you probably know this guy from Russia, Blast Beatology, dude.
Oh yeah,
Who's
totally.
doing the push pull and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, he said he was doing the doubles, and yeah, I don't know, was it the knee? Yeah, he'll correct me, but it just got fucked up. Yeah, it's never, you know, whatever technique you are playing, there is just no one's gonna guarantee that you are not gonna suffer, you know.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But yeah,
it's definitely listening to your body, finding what's right for you, and just working with that, you know. I wouldn't knock any drummer for playing any technique, for sure. So
yeah, let's just make fun of all of them.
Everyone sucks.
But yeah, another thing I wanted to ask you before we just do the video stuff, the Shao Ken t-shirt I asked you about, like, what is that? Where can we get it? Such a cool design.
Yeah, it was very cool. Yeah, that was I believe Sven made that for my birthday one year.
Okay.
And it had both of my dogs on it and my cat on there and then me on there. But yeah, that was just
a birthday thing.
It was like a birthday thing. Yeah.
Well, that's a cool.
Very cool
t-shirt.
Yeah, very cool.
Okay, so that's the fun part that we're gonna start right now. So I asked people to send me their covers. Okay, on the menu, we've got a few dishes. So the thing is, of course, we're not gonna trash the dude if they screw it up or anything, right? I don't want people just to quit drumming because of this video and shit. Okay, any of them you want to watch? Your choice.
I don't care. You pick whatever ones.
Okay, the Necrotic Manifesto, I think.
Sure,
it's a staple. It's
sure.
It's probably the song that do you actually hate any songs? Like hate playing, like, oh fuck, again we have to play it.
No, not really.
Okay.
I don't think so.
That's good. Okay. So here's the guy. Okay. Whenever you play a different fill or anything like this, or whenever you want to comment, I'll stop it for you, okay? We're good to go?
Sure. All right.
Okay.
Is that guy doing two foot blast on that part?
Yeah. He's doing it with hi-hat and the pedal at the same time.
I mean, it definitely makes that part a lot easier to play and probably cleaner to play.
But you're doing it with, from what I remember, you are doing swivel on, right?
Doing the 1 foot blast is always going to be a little bit more challenging, I think, with trying to do the like opening with the left foot only. Because with that, I think it's probably just like he doesn't have to do anything other than just play, the standard 8s, and then it'll just land on an up. So when he hits it, it'll just cut out the hi-hat like that. So, I mean, that's smarter to play it like that for sure. That saves some fucking energy. That's sick, though. Sounds killer so far.
Okay, let's continue.
No, that's sick. Sounds
No,
really
he's
good.
doing good.
Yeah, he's doing
He's
really
doing
good.
amazing. Anything?
I mean, all the fills are a little different, but like that's totally fine. That it still is, the context of everything is still very good. So
Yeah,
yeah,
as long as no one is turning and
yeah,
saying, yeah,
yeah.
okay.
I mean, all the fills are gonna be different, and I just expect that to happen. But it
Okay.
sounds sick so far.
Yeah, we've got 1 minute left, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. That, what was it? That crash.
Yeah.
You saw it, like.
Oh yeah.
But so far, everything is,
Yeah, it's sick.
yeah, sick.
Yeah.
Each part.
He definitely plays that part way different than me, but like it's still pretty cool how he's doing it for sure.
Yeah, I could see this one live, and this one is so challenging. All these accents. Do you actually play like doubles on your hands, or no? Or
For
like,
this part specifically,
yeah.
um, this part changes fucking nightly because it's kind of just like an improv part, to be
Oh,
honest.
is it? I
Yeah.
thought, okay,
Yeah.
these people are learning it, how it's on the album, and you're
Yeah.
improvising it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean on album it's improvised too. I mean I play it kind of similar, but there's like most of it's not really double bass. So when he starts with the double bass, I'm like, that's,
That's not what
but
I do.
yeah, but that's okay because like it still sounds really cool. Uh, yeah, I definitely tried to go jazzy with that part, but I don't know how to play jazz, so.
It's jazzy. Yeah, it is. Okay. What an amazing solo. Did you write it, or it was Mendel?
No, I didn't.
No, Mendel joined later.
No, this is Mendel and Danny. This is on Necrotic. So this is
Okay.
Yeah, this is Mendel and Danny song.
I got it all messed up.
Very cool song and solos, both trade-off solo.
Okay, so what is it? Pass or fail?
Oh, it's definitely a pass.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
actually, again, no, we are not gonna discourage anyone, because he did
That's
a
no, it was a
great job.
great cover on it.
Yeah, this JFK drums, the guy, he actually, you probably heard, you might have not heard, I did the full album drum cover of Black Dahlia.
Okay. Yeah, I
The
think.
Ever Black one. So he was doing one of the covers, and he did it, just on the
Sick.
short notice, like within like 3-4 days. So he's an amazing drummer. So
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, it sounds killer.
Any other feedback about him?
No,
No.
you know what, the thing that I would say that I notice about maybe there's parts that are a little too metal as far as the fills go, but it's, I mean, he played it more relentless than I do sometimes. So I'm like, you know, whatever. It sounds sick.
Sounds sick anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. So this guy,
Yeah.
next one, right? You, I don't know if you watched this one or not, but let me know if the, yes, his name is Mike Panamaryov. That's the Russian last name. Yeah. So let's check this one out. Oh, too low. You hear it?
Oh yeah.
Are those pearls?
Yeah, it looks like the, yeah, it looks like the pearl petals.
Do you play the same with the accents on the hi-hat?
I think on either the hi-hat or China. I mean, he's playing it correct so far, like pretty much spot on.
Okay.
Yeah.
This riff.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
Mendel.
So far, again,
Yeah.
anything you want to add?
No, I mean he's pretty much just playing the fucking song.
Okay, but he's got swivel too.
Yeah.
I think you are probably a big inspiration to his playing. I could see.
I've talked with him a bunch. Yeah, he's fucking sick.
Okay.
He's a good drummer.
Oops. Yeah, he is. He is. Oh. How do you feel about those transitions from slower tempos, like how are they for you? Did you get used to them, or they're like not a problem for you whatsoever?
I mean, they can always be pretty challenging. I have a little bit harder time with like doing like patterns and different like jumpy things, but usually going slow to fast, that's kind of one of those things that I've practiced a billion times. So like it's not easy. I don't always do it perfect, but it's not too bad if you practice it. So
okay, we've got a little bit left.
Yeah.
Play something differently so we can comment. Please.
No need to.
I like the snare, you know, like a shotgun, like I don't know. I don't know if it translates to you because the Zoom sharing screen, you probably have like this kind of sounds.
No, it sounds normal. It sounds like a really pingy snare, or like it's open.
I was praying God that you know, are gonna use the computer, because previously I had it with Brendan and he was using the phone, and I don't know how he managed it, but I could imagine that it sounded like farts. Moody part.
Man, it's
very moody.
His cymbal looks like it's gonna fall off. That shit's moving.
Which one?
His crash. His crash is like.
Because the moody part started. You know,
yeah. Like the crash is gonna fall now.
That's the part where Ken can relax. but Sven is screaming that he's relaxing the least. What I like about you guys is just some smooth, melancholic solo.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah.
That's the trademark of the band.
Definitely. You know? Yep.
I love it. Yeah. But what do we let's stop here with Mike. Thank you, Mike. You already said that he did well. Amazing cover.
He played the whole fucking thing. I think he played the whole thing right, except maybe like 2 fills were different for the most part. But like, yeah, the whole thing was like, okay, are you trying to take my job? What's going on here, dude?
Yeah, he is probably. So watch out for Mike. Do you know this guy?
I've seen this dude on social medias plenty of times.
Okay. But have you checked out this cover before or no?
I don't think I've seen it, no. I'm sorry for this guy.
It's the newer stuff. Buckle Up.
At least he's playing doubles.
Yeah.
This song.
Another cheater.
I'm like, dude, don't do this one.
No. Again, I'm joking. I respect any technique.
Totally.
That's and people who know my page, they know that. So the guy's probably gonna do well. Okay, let's do this. Let me know if it's loud. Hear it?
Yeah.
Anything? Any comments?
The snare was not placed correctly.
Do better. His name is Renee, right? Do better.
He did the second verse the first time, but yeah, I mean it's fine.
So far, solid.
Totally. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good. Those tempo changes, I don't remember, were they on the song?
There's honestly no tempo change. The whole song is 280 through the whole thing. Yeah, this song's a fucking nightmare to play.
It is. I saw this one in the studio when you were recording it.
Yeah, the studio footage that's all edited. Cause I couldn't fucking play that song when we recorded it.
So it's gonna be only on the album, right?
We've played it live. It's fine to play it live now because I've played it before. Well, just in the studio, I'd never played it, so I was like, well, let's just piece it together, I guess. Fuck it. Yeah.
Okay, we have what? But A for the effort. It's,
hell yeah.
You know, we could see that even for the gods, it's shit is tough.
It's a fucking tough song. Yeah. That sounded sick though.
And here it stops.
He's like, dude, I've
had enough of this shit. But what do we say? Do you say?
Dude, anybody that can play any part of this song, I'm like, yeah, because that song is a fucking nightmare to play.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
And I wanted to say something. Yeah, and this tremolo part, which is that's probably my favorite part of the whole album.
Sick.
This thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the first song I wrote for the album, and then we're like, cool, let's just do the rest then. Fuck it.
Yeah, and let's suffer till till the
What a
very
night.
end.
Yeah, Sven was like, we should start with this song. I'm like, hell no, we're not going to start with that goddamn song, dude.
But did you actually? What? What was you mean in the album or on the
Yeah,
tour?
both. Yeah. And I'm like, no, we're not going to do either one of those, dude. No. Because if we put it the first on the album, I know we're going to play it first live. No,
Okay. But anyways, it's good that it worked out. The
Yeah.
whole thing, man. And it was this interview was a little bit as stressful, not as stressful as your show with Abigail. But I
Yeah.
had such a great time. Yeah.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you for having me on here. Sorry that
Yeah.
I could not stop fucking talking. I usually
No,
am not that way.
it's perfect. I should shut the fuck up. I I need to give the person permission to not permission, like allow person to speak more. And that was amazing. That was hopefully your vocal cords are not gonna hurt
Oh,
tomorrow.
no, I'll be all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Ken.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
If you need anything, just let me know. Yeah. Need feature. You don't need it. Who at
I'm
this
not on social media really that often, so
yeah,
maybe
with the
so.
kids. Yeah. You've got one kid, right? Daughter.
So I have my own daughter, and then I have two stepkids as well.
Okay,
So
that's even more
it's
stress on you.
full time dad.
Full time dad. Okay. Hopefully we'll see you on the road. You know, are
Yeah.
there gonna be dates in the US somewhere here in California?
We should be doing a tour in the States. I want to say around June,
Mm-hmm.
but it has not been announced yet, so I can't really talk about it because I don't know that it's really gonna happen. But
Okay.
we're looking like it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
So
I'll see you there. Hopefully we'll make it
yeah,
happen.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
man, it was just such a pleasure and an
Yeah.
honor. Thank you
Hell
very
yeah.
much. You
Yeah,
have
of
a good
course.
one.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Hell
Have a
yeah.
good one.
Awesome.
Bye.
You too. Bye.